Hi Rob, hi everyone. I would first like to thank you for a very informative discussion on the CFA charter and on the CFA exam. I personally completely agree with you that being a charter holder myself, that it's actually a labor of love. Achieving the charter is a labor of love. But allow me to be more personal. Let's take a step back. I believe that most of our audience and our followers on Twitter actually wanted to know what was your main motivation in taking the exam back in probably the early 2000s, I believe. Early 2000s, early 2000s. What was your main motivation?
My motivation was something else. Number one, I'm all about personal improvement. I think I like studying, that's one. And it's funny, I don't know if it's here, my old boss, who's also a charter holder, said, if you want to make a mark, if you want to do well and bring yourself to the next level and at least improve your career, I suggest you take it. He was a charter holder, I looked up to him, and that actually, and to tell the truth, it actually changed my life. I took it and I noticed that I was becoming more skilled in what I was doing, and I had a greater appreciation of the learnings that we have, and not only the learning. I think what I really enjoyed was the ethics part, because it gave me that mindset that whenever I do something, it's always for the good of the client. It's always for the good of society.
We have a few followers who are itching to ask you, how early should our students be, how early should they start preparing if they were to plan if they were to plan to take the CFA exam?
I think you can relate, but number one, it depends on you. My recommendation is if you have absolutely no background whatsoever. I was lucky, I had background. I had some experience. I was a little older candidate. I was a candidate who was a little older, but you probably will enroll September, for a June exam, and you probably get your books by October, okay, if I'm not mistaken. So by October, November, you probably have your books there. So my suggestion is, if you want to be sure, if you want to minimize your risk, study October, study November, take a short break for Christmas, and by that time, you're probably done by about April, May, and start practicing. So you'll be good for the June exam again.
I completely agree. Actually, my tip for you guys is to start early. Probably, well, you all know that for the CFA Level 1 exam, it actually occurs twice in a year. We have it every June and every December. My suggestion, just like Rob's, is to start early, probably 5 to 6 months prior to your exam, you start studying already. And then a month before the actual exam, that's probably the time to start practicing on mock exams. That's actually a wise suggestion.
Really agree.
Well, if you would allow me another personal question, if you could take us in your personal journey towards achieving your charter, did you experience any difficulties, and how did you surpass those difficulties?
Difficulties was, like some of you who will be taking it, I was working. So doing that, it's like for any student who's taking an MBA, you're working, my work hours, that time we were a smaller unit. It's not as big as we are right now. So we were actually shorthanded. So you can imagine, I come in the office about 8:39, and there are times I would go home 9, 10, and on average I would go home 7. So I work in Ortigas, I'll be going home to Kenta, so I'll probably be able to get home around 10, 11. So that's the only time I'll be able to study. So you can imagine, the stress it will take on your physicality, on your mind. But what I think you can do is you just plow through. You plan your study hours and you stick with it. If you're an early riser, then you reverse the situation. I was looking at Nico over there, and I remember him saying that would sleep first and he'd wake up first thing in the morning, he would study. So remember, cater to your situation. Me, I sleep late, so what I would do is I'd study until the wee hours of the morning and then I'd sleep. For some of you, sleep, study, whatever works. But just remember, discipline. Every day, 2 hours, 2 hours, 2 hours. Next thing you know you're halfway done. You're 3/4 study, and then you're done.
Yes, you emphasize the word discipline. I completely agree with that. That is actually what you need in order to obtain your charter eventually. We have a few minutes left. Just a final question. Probably most of our students here, our young professionals, would like to know what happens after receiving the CFA charter. What has the charter given you in terms of your career, and did it help you in your career advancement and so forth? If you can just expound on that.
It's for me. I don't know if my situation is unique, but it was pretty dramatic because the time that I received my charter, there were some organizational changes going on. The year later, I got my charter. My boss actually created his own firm, so that left an opening for me. The year that I got my charter, I got promoted one level, and I think the major justification that my boss had was, he's a charter holder. He has the discipline. We're always very careful to say that having a charter doesn't make us better, but it emphasizes that this guy has the discipline to do what it takes. And how it changed me is every time you make a decision, you go through the process that obtaining the charter taught you. So you step back, you analyze, you use all the tools that you have, and then you get into it. That's how it changes you.
Any final words for our students here? Any final tips? I believe today's actually September. You can probably start, if you're contemplating, if you're intrigued by the CFA charter, you can actually visit our website, and then probably enrollment for the June exam might open anytime soon. Any few words for them?
Well, again, it goes back to what the other speakers say. If this is the career that you want, if you want to be in finance, you want to be in banking, investments, corporate finance, what have you, I think Ronnie mentioned it earlier. You have to be an expert. You want to increase your GNI. All of us can't be actors or lawyers, right? And holding a bachelor's degree will only get you so much. So you want to be an expert, you want to have that brand, then I would really suggest that you take it, because it allows for growth. Between you and me, if everything being equal, and I always say this, if you're an employer and you go through what Dr. Bustos was saying, their attitude is the same, their academic background is the same, almost everything is the same, but one is a charter holder, one is not. And assuming that that's the only difference, who would you go for? I think that's the only thing I would say. It doesn't mean that that person is better, but it means that that person has that discipline to take it and take it and take it. So I think, it's changed my life. So I hope more people will take it because they want to change theirs.
Thank you very much, Rob. Thank you very much, everyone.